we are establishing or reviving, whatever you may call it, the SRC Union, a movement that is going to challenge the status quo.
Our aim is not to attack government. It is to give it direction as to where and how.
We are going to be challenging the outdated policies. Every student deserves a voice.
Programs need to be reviewed for the current economic market. We need to make sure that universities know the current market of what the job economy looks like.
We are in the dark about very important issues. We want that 2.5. We should no longer be forced to go through the bureaucracy of our management.
We are not prefects, we have to be included in decision making.
The establishment of this union is to say we'll be addressing incompetent workers. We'll question each and everything to the core, the last three.
Dumelang comrades, my name is Mudiri Motshekwe, the UBSRC Vice President, and we welcome you all to the University of Botswana campus, where we are hosting the first meeting of the much anticipated and the much envisioned SRC Union, right? And our speakers today will be the presidents of the following tertiary institutions. The president from Buan, comrades, she will be followed by the president from BAC, then the president from BUIST, last but not least, the president of the University of Botswana. Yes.
Good afternoon. As already introduced, my name is Abutimelo Makura. I am the Buan SRC president. Well, my task this afternoon is very simple and very brief and short. I am to introduce why we are here today and why did we choose to say we are establishing or reviving, whatever you may call it, the SRC Union. So today is not just any other day, we say a union, SRC Union, like any other years is coming together. But it is a day where we establish a force that is going to shape student leadership, not only in our individual institutions, but across our entire nation. This is not just a structure that we are bringing back to life, but it's a movement that is going to challenge the status quo. And it's a movement that is rooted on the belief that every student deserves a voice, they deserve a say, and they deserve a stake, not just a seat at the table. So we are here on a radical position to challenge the system that has consistently failed students across our institutions. We are going to be challenging the outdated policies. We are going to be advocating for quality education in our institutions. It is the beginning of a new era that is going to challenge the status quo, like I mentioned, because we demand quality academic experience for all students. We might be from different universities, but we must understand that education is not a privilege. It's a right. And we all deserve the best and quality. So we are going to challenge institutional governance. We are going to challenge those policies that do not promote quality education. Ladies and gentlemen, I must say the union is here. We are here to advocate for all students across all universities. My fellow comrades are going to be taking us through what we will be doing in this union. Thank you.
Thank you, Her Excellency Bahatsukinna Loago Saleshando. I'm the president of the Botswana Accountancy College, SRC. And I'm going to begin to talk about some of the things that are challenging, not just to BAC, but across the board to us tertiary institutions. The first thing, which I think is going to be the most popular, is DTF, the Department of Tertiary Education Financing. The processes in which they operate today have proved already countless times to be inefficient, because it's always on Facebook when we're trending that you see that it's about allowances not being credited, cause of many strikes and unstable environments. So the process as it is right now, for those who may not know, from a student registering, a registration or registry department at an institution will take the names. They compile a list of names of registered students whom have been verified, and then send those to DTF. From there, DTF will pass it through its departments, monitoring, evaluation, up until disbursement, where they finally get paid. Now, the problem is simple. When you have certain institutions, and BSc is a very prime example of this, we have different registration periods because they want to send in batches. They're not going to take individuals and send one by one to DTF. They wait for names to accumulate before they send to DTF. Some people are omitted from lists by accident. We don't have the power as an SRC to go to DTF and say, our department forgot to put this name on, please modify your list, amend. We don't have those powers. We are at the mercy of our registration departments. We must go to them and say, you left a name out, please add it. They may do it today, they may do it tomorrow, they may do it next week after 5 follow-ups. They are not the ones that are hungry, korai, with no allowance to come to school. So there's no urgency in the matter. At the same time, we are the SRC that has been crucified, but in this whole process, our power is so limited with allowance. We are only the middleman. And so that process has to change. In fact, I would go as far as to say as the SRC should be given powers to go straight to DTF and say, I've verified this student. They have passed their exams. They can move on to the next semester. Put them in your list for disbursement. They need their allowance. That must change because it will allow, finally, for the SRC to be able to speed up processes and help those who can't wait for a batch of names to be sent next week, Friday. So that's the first thing about DTF. The second thing is that, and it's across again, multiple institutions, book allowances. Not all courses are the same. Some require more academic material than others. Take our computing courses, for example, where you are not given a laptop, you must buy. Take professional courses where at times you must buy online resources which are not for free, you must pay. DTF for a lot of these folks only gives, for professional courses I know at our institution, BAC, is 1.4. But the academic material that they need to pass a semester far exceeds 1.4. And it's well known that some of these courses in nature are a little bit more difficult to get through. So you take on this tough course and you're put at a further disadvantage, as if it's not hard enough, by not being properly resourced to take on the semester. Such a sad reality, and it takes only a simple review. And I'm sure it has been like this for a long time now. I believe the problem comes from something I'm going to mention, so you just hold on tight. So we're looking at a review for book allowances, because this has been going on far too long, and we can't have students who start a semester at a disadvantage. The last thing about DTF that I will say, in fact, this one also leads me to the Honorable Minister of Higher Education, Honorable Maele. 2.5. Now, at our institutions, we have students asking, may this next allowance, will the 2.5 arrive? They're allowed to ask that. Why? Because their minister has not said anything to them. They don't know. There's no plan that's been communicated. There's no deadlines that have been communicated. There's no structure to anything. We've only heard from a podcast that was held last week where there may be a phased approach. We don't know. And so it's because of the ministers not communicating with the most important stakeholder of his ministry, the people of his ministry. We are in the dark about very important issues. We want that 2.5. And so it's time to get serious about how exactly it's going to happen. The minister's problem of also not contributing to interacting with us is that it is raising big questions. Rona as a union, Ghana is our biggest representation in the executive, as well as in parliament. How is he going to represent us if he doesn't know us? I don't know about many of the other institutions. Ronako BAC, you've seen him once because he was invited for a conference, a ceremony of sorts. We're expected to hear a budget speech. What is he going to put in his budget? What is he going to request for if he has not come to see on the ground? What needs his attention? Where should this money be focused? And so this is actually a call to action for Honorable Maele, if he's watching, to come to the institutions in which you govern. If not, there will never be stability in the relationship that we have, because there simply can be no appropriate representation of us. So that's DTF. That's the minister. There's an important issue which affects some institutions more than others. And it's a contentious one, but I'm going to throw it in anyways. As an SRC, we are the people whom are supposed to govern the students of an institution. We are not merely representatives, as the name is supposed to indicate. We're not going to go to management of our institutions and ask. We must be given power to govern. How can we govern influence without any additional power to do so? So, I'm proposing that there exist a framework across all tertiary institutions that outlines the powers that an SRC should have on its campus. Bona, this country is apparently serious now about youth leadership. The youth doesn't just control the electorate. As my favorite minister, I was told not to say this name, Lisego Chombo, has shown us, we are the leaders of today as well. So, with that being said, we need to take that seriously, not speak, but rather act. So an SRC at UB should have the same powers as an SRC at BAC. If UB can sit in the board, later now we should be able to sit on the board, Libused, Libuan. Because there are certain issues on campus that we can never fix because we are underneath the bureaucracy of our institutions is heavy. We are underneath management right at the bottom. So when we want to influence a policy that is no longer making sense, if we have an accommodation problem such as Bust as well, we as an SRC don't have power to say we've identified a facility, let us start inspecting and let us look at the procurement process for this particular facility. We can't do that. But that is what we need to do if we want to be serious about nurturing the future leadership of this country. We should no longer be forced to go through the bureaucracy of our management. I hope it's making sense because this is mission critical. You can't have people arrive in Bo Parliament for the first time having had no influence of any policy, even anywhere. Those days should be over. It should start at our level here in university. So, that, I hope, can be shared not just in government institutions. It should be privatized as well. Private institutions should uphold this framework to say all tertiary education institutions in Botswana all have this set guide of powers, no matter what kind of institution you are, whether you're government, whether you're private, whether you're a parastatal, you have these powers to influence such policies. You have these powers to sit in these meetings. Because if you're the most important stakeholder, it is your right to be in such rooms. Let's clap. Actually, I think that makes sense for our future. Come on, guys. No, that makes sense for our future. So, those are some of the things we're coming for. We want to take a look at DTF processes. We need more power to be able to help more students personally. We need to hear from the minister. He needs to have a relationship with us on the ground so that he can represent us where he goes to do so. We need to know when our 2.5 is coming, how it's coming, because the deafening.
A gona le dipotso re ka botsa dipotso re Eric Karabe.
And it is time for the universities and DTF to take this matter with a matter of importance. Because at the end of the day, so that these students are included in the list. I listen with list before I send you to DTF. I share really school. So that students can help to verify DTF and to verify with DTF to say, or the school registry to say, abused. He is an off-campus allowance. It's important. You can't just verify on a system and expect for everything would be great. Alright, so I would also like to shed light on what Mr. Shaleshando has said. We have a lot of service providers, we We have the cafeteria, we have security, and we have health facilities, laundry. But you guys all know whenever there's issues with these service providers, they come back to the SRC. Banaba complain to SRC. Let SRC be involved in this decision making for securing this service providers for the students. When it comes to work cafeteria, even policy making, it's important that students sit in those setups where we have to make policies that govern our students. We are not prefects, we have to be included in decision making so that the students can know it's a remote. Otherwise, people are just going to keep on passing policies. Yes, man. We are not yes men. We are here to strive for change. But like I've mentioned, we are not spectators. Programs need to be reviewed for the current economic market. What we have to acknowledge, the government is the greatest employer of graduates in Botswana. Universities have to make sure that they structure their programs in the sense that they will absorb every graduate in the economic of Botswana. There needs to be empowerment of Banaba Ilongkorba graduate. We have a lot of graduates, but the only problem that we have, we don't guide them necessarily to say, this costs us in a market. You need to go into this. We need to make sure that universities know the current market of what the job economy looks like. So let me again shed light into the 2,500 DTF allowance that we were promised by the UDC government. Madia high enough. Even when you take a look at the rent, obviously, review accommodation in Moscow, but Madia tends high enough. Sometimes I look at Banaba I feel with a because I can put myself in your shoes and I understand what my DTF Hamans 1,500 again never found him. My did you have it to mate rent alone heights and the landlord have a rate in the light. Banaba by Kuala Facebook. Keep the minister, Honorable Prince Maida, Madiakana Amania. Like Mr. Saleshandra has mentioned, there needs to be communication. This matter needs to be treated with a sense of agency. Let me also emphasize or maybe support rather the proposed loan repayment for people who have benefited from the DTF sponsorship. So I know this will become controversial, but let us acknowledge most, if not all, people who have been employed in Botswana, they've benefited from the government. Madia pormente ha tso hela abasa busi. Let us just be civil for a moment. I care banaba ilong gore haba bona ditiro. Ba ya go tselwa madi ba tsengwe mo di tronko. No. Gona la ba ilong gore ba hirile, gona la ba ilong gore ba khona gore ba itshetse. Let the government actually implement this program gore eleke go busa madi. Make sure sponsor. Otherwise, this will come to an end. Because we need to make sure that we understand the importance of a cycle. Madi is a cycle. When you were helped by someone who was in school, I'm sure most of you have gone to or have most likely have interactions with Banaba Mahatama. And they will tell you, my parents were in school. School. And it's something that we have to appreciate from the very first step of primary school. You are not paying enough until you have degree. Isn't that enough from the government? Just put yourself in the government shoes. Proposal and implementation of the plan for government employees or people who have benefited from the DTF sponsorship. So that the next coming younger generation, otherwise, let us play a role to make sure that we help a government. I get we have to acknowledge and say, let us help you. But so, like I've mentioned, we stand on business. And today, it is the implementation of our SRC Union. If there are any issues I haven't managed to highlight, I believe Mr. President on my right will shed light into that. Thank you so much, and have a blessed day.
Bagaetsho dumelang. Ke bidua Kwena, UBSRC President. Mine is just a short one. It's to sum up the points that have already been articulated here, and maybe to put emphasis on certain issues here and there. But let me start by maybe re-highlighting the whole context and the essence of this press conference. Is to invite other tertiary institutions, to invite technical colleges to say there's a union now that will be addressing the issue since in the because there are key issues, the thing, and the issues they affect the whole experience of a student, especially the academic experience, right? This later accreditation of allowances, lack of accreditation of certain courses, that our curriculums are not streamlined to find suit the market space. There are certain incompetent officers. So it seems maybe but the previous government have been allowing incompetent officers in whatever institutions, in whatever stakeholders that play a key part in the whole student experience. So, badi buile tsotlhe ke tla gatella hale le hale le ga ise gore e tla be se ga se. One, this union so will not shy away. We are going to make it clear. Our aim is not to attack government. It is to give it direction as to where and how and what need be done. So we'll be giving direction. We are the ones experiencing whatever mishaps. We are the ones experiencing the adversities of being a student. So we are the ones who are better suited to give direction to our government. Me, on merit, I must say, these issues direction from here. They will attend to them. They will implement them. So that is that. One, I spoke of issue a streamlined, the need for a holistic review of all curriculums across all universities so that it is fine suited to the market space. 4 years, we are course, there's nothing there for you. That is why there's a lot of students unemployed outside of these universities. So this issue needs to be done as soon as possible. Government needs to take a strong stance to say, you know what, Botswana, here are our avenues, here is the opportunities or the gaps in the market, and here is where our students and our universities should be putting their focus on. So that is one. Secondly, I have a problem with this issue. There are a lot of institutions. They are accredited somehow, but after now 4 years about how you are trying to license you, we tell about ERB now, so they need be there should not be disparity between licensing and accreditation at university. So government needs to take a strong stance. The university because it's a waste of taxpayers' money. It's corruption to say now 4 years go university. Graduated. So such issues, so let's on, will be given direction to say, no, such things, a bold stance should be taken and it should be put aside. We need not shy away from such. Another issue, this union, I must say, because I've been a victim of it, is the victimization of students once they air out their issues. You know, I always have a problem, but I won't attribute it to this government. It is the previous one, whereby had issued it, whoever is raising them, instead of addressing the core issue, yeah, but by either by suspension or whatever. And the funny thing is that you would find that it's like, it's an African thing, and we react to a crisis. How lo re anong ke gone go tsitswa modumo ke gone tiro e tla dirwang o tla bona ile gore so se lo sa le se pen mo 30 minutes sa wela ga ba ithuti ba sena ba didimadi. So gone tsone dio tseo. I want to assure you the establishment of this union is to say we will be addressing incompetent workers, because go tlisa botlhoko gore government used to, emphasis on used to, prefer an incompetent single worker over the mishaps of majority of the students. Kana a delay in allowances for a gore mongwe go ho ga ira tiro nngwe sentle ka ra ke rena ra kwala madu a ntshio. So if there's a delay, then there's incompetence, and if there's incompetence, then it need be addressed. Ha go tinya SRC tshwantse ikubiwe kana nya tshwantse re go didima, because late accreditation of allowances, it affects a student directly and personally. Ona bua ka kgantsa di rent. The allowances there dina di late research living allowance. Imagine you are a student, we can go to o bail mo allowance in current. Allowance it can go as far as 3 months. It means so that you can sustain yourself. Now landlord which means how we to you are given one chance at the sponsorship. So when you hold all that experience, you are not in your right state of mind, you are not fully committed, you are not fully focused. So failure, you lose your sponsorship. Our parents, so it need be a strong stance need be taken to say government, but am I a government? I trust it. It will have to take a bold stance to choose majority of the students over incompetence. So he or she will be causing delays, whatnot. This union, the purpose of it is to address such issues boldly and fiercely. And the issue, those are part of the issues. Another issue on your 2.5 living allowance. Yes, we have promised that allowance. And yes, and I think they're right to say, no, the minister need to engage with the students and give them direction as to what is going to happen, how far, at least. Especially Rona as the leaders of institutions. He needs to be here. It's tedious to have a budget speech coming up, and then we do not have direction as to what is to happen. But I trust my minister, I must say. So we will engage also the minister. The main aim of this union is to work hand in hand with the minister. It's a problem that we are not part of the decision-making processes with regards to our education. So that ministry it needs to engage us. DTF, before it takes the whole essence of representation is to have a student voice. We can question a lot of things. Yaka FNB, the appointment of FNB as a banker, but they do not understand such. We do not see the CSR. We need to question that, and this union will question that. We will question each and everything to the core, to the last string. The whole essence of this press conference has already been captured by Comrade President Wabuad. this is an earnest appeal and call to other institutions to say, Hase ya rona hela union. It might have been started by the 4 institutions, but we are calling unto you. We are calling unto you, technical colleges, private institutions, so that we come, we sit down. We have not yet drafted anything. That is the whole essence of this press conference. We are saying we are now starting, and we want each and every institution to be involved in this milestone. Ka kalo ba gaetsho, ke dumela gore re wetse.
So is this a new union or is it the same 2022? Also, you are inviting the private institutions, but I don't see them here. Did you invite them or what is the plan there? Because the one I gave 4 institutions.
Okay, thank you for your question. I think, let me answer the first one. The question was, the question was, there was previously a union established by the same institutions. Yes, we are aware. But unfortunately, there was a lack of continuity at the time. I think because Ghana SRC, it takes only a year. That's the unfortunate part. So I think the following year, I remember it was Carter then Prosper. I think there was then maybe communication fell out, but the union never materialized. And that is why we are here formulating a new one, which maybe would have governing principles and also would have an element of continuity to say, because now all institutions will be a part and parcel of, they will maybe affiliate to it, a structure, a constitution will be put up just to ensure continuity. So it's a different one from that one, because it never materialized. And the second question, the whole essence of this press conference, the reason why Neke emphasized, no, we had not yet called them. We are now inviting them. I believe this, we are parastatal universities. So now we are calling for private institutions. We are calling for technical colleges. We are yet to register for the register of civil societies. So if they have interest, and then we commence proceedings to address such. Okay. Any other question?
So effectively, this is a loose coalition.
Is it?
It's a loose coalition. There's no constitution that governs how you're going to operate.
There's a question there. Yeah. There is not one yet. I know we want to allow other institutions to come so that they are part of the process. Because the reason why maybe there was a lack of continuity more than so a sense of belonging maybe just an assumption. So but now we'll have a constitution that governs us. So it's not a new coalition. It's actually a tertiary union.
It makes sense what you are trying to do, but some of your speakers before were addressing some of the issues that affect you, some of them challenges that need to be dealt with in the short term, some maybe in the medium term. So high level lessons constitution, and you're inviting, for instance, the minister, all address a little boma.
And we are SRC president. Each and every one of us.
So that means address you as SRC president until you have become a union.
I think we have to actually formulate something before we can advance. Yeah, so for now, I want to hear whatever powers I have, like SRC constitution, which is a lot of powers I have.
Since there are no further questions, I think we came to the end of our discussion today. And as the president had mentioned, more or other institutions are more than welcome to come and join this union. And should we have another sitting like this, to invite more press, and we're expecting more questions from the floor, because there's a first step in the right direction. And with that being said, thank you.